Hello and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is round number 13 of the Premier League. If you look down in the description, you can see timestamps for all of the games, but we're going to jump into the first game right now. Thomas, take us away.
West Ham United versus Tottenham Hotspur.
So both of these teams being pretty much dreadful last week helped me win predictions, Thomas. I got a win over you. I'm now up 7 points to 5. That being said, as both these teams were really poor, West Ham were abysmal against Burnley, got hammered 3-0. Tottenham did their very best to lose to Sheffield United, but ended up with a 1-1 draw. I have a feeling that West Ham are going to win this game, and it's going to be more misery for Spurs. I think West Ham suffered. I've just had a look, and I know they've got Mark Noble back. I think they're going to have Antonio back, and I think those two players just add a lot to West Ham in terms of getting the crowd on board. I think it's a London derby. It'll be a hostile atmosphere. And I think West Ham will nick it 2-1.
Yet again, Ian, you sound like a total nutcase. But what week don't you? Last week, 8 matches, you correctly predicted the winner or the result there. 2 of them with a correct score. I've been beaten by 2 points overall. This Tottenham Hotspur side are definitely a club in crisis.
There it is. Again, I feel like you've picked Tottenham for like 5 weeks on that now.
Well, they are. They're literally like no manager at any other club would have lasted this long. But Poch has done such a good job, and you can see it in the team. You can see that it's not his fault the players are dropping off. They're ready to leave. They have been terrible to watch. That Bayern Munich result has just stuck with me all season. Every time I look at them, I just remember them shipping 7 goals. It was 7, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I think that they're gonna get a win here. I think they're gonna win 2-1. This West Ham side are garbage, and Manuel Pellegrini is on borrowed time. I mean, they're not actually garbage, right? But they're playing like garbage. This is a good side that should be doing better, but they're playing like garbage. I think Spurs win this 2-1. I think it gives Poch more time in the job, and I think we see Pellegrini leave this week.
Where would Spurs be without heinous leg breaker Son?
Oh, I mean, a criminal, really. He should probably be in jail for his
ban for life.
His humanity. Ban for life. Do you know the BBC is still reporting it as a horror tackle?
Talking about horrors, Arsenal versus Southampton.
Oh, the dustbin of fire careens out of control further. Wheelie bins abound. There's women and children in the street sobbing. This Arsenal side are garbage. 3-0 against Leicester. 3-0. What is Unai Emery doing? No one knows. It is unbelievable. And you know what? This is the first week of the season I predict the Southampton victory. Ralph of the Hassan Hustle clan is going to take his loyal band of South Coasters up to North London and show Unai Emery what a team of hard workers can do. He's going to win. They're going to batter him. It's going to be 2-0 to Southampton.
Absolute madness coming out of your mouth right now. Absolute madness. Yes, Arsenal lost 3-0 to Leicester. And the funny thing was that wasn't even a shock. That was like a fully expected Leicester to win that game. Southampton lost at home to Everton. Of all teams to lose for, when you're scrapping from your life, you lose to Everton. I feel so sorry for Ralph Hasenhüttl. He has clearly been held hostage by this Southampton side. They're waiting for him to just pack up and leave, but don't do it, Ralph. Stay in the job and get that sweet payoff from being fired. This Southampton side is absolutely shocking. I see this one being quite similar to the City game, where Southampton take the lead and everyone's like, oh, they've turned the corner, they're trying now. No, it's not going to be the case. They'll take the lead, but Arsenal come back and win it. It'll paper over the cracks for Arsenal, 3-1 to the Gunners. It's funny how we we thought like a load of managers would be fired after the last round of fixtures, and they've all sort of kept in their job.
It was perfect timing. International breaks this time of the year is when they always sack managers. We're betting on the obvious result, and it's not happening.
Arsenal, get rid of Emery and bring in Sean Dyche. That's my new campaign. And speaking of that, Tom, next match.
Watford versus Burnley.
So Watford got their first win of the season, and that was one of the results or scores I predicted right to get a point over you in the last round. I think they are slowly getting better. Burnley obviously are a good side under Dyche, we all know that, but I think they're much better at home than they are away, and I am once again going to back Watford to get their second win of the season, back-to-back home win for the Hornets, and I think they're going to grind this one out, a 1-0 win for Watford.
I'm going to be totally honest here. I really should back Watford because when they win 1, they tend to win 7. But I can't do it. They've looked so bad all season. They are improving, but I've got 0-0 written all over this. Burnley are better attacking, but they're still poor away from home. Last week was a really big victory for them, and here I just see them negating each other.
I know Watford have got your mate Troy Deeney back. I think they've got Troy Deeney back. I can just see him being the difference maker in this game. Maybe getting a penalty. AFC Bournemouth, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Well, it'd be remiss of me if I didn't talk about Eddie Howe just a little bit. What a gorgeous man. Somehow he found a way to keep Steve Bruce in a job last week, though. He thought about it and he said, it's time we lost a game finally. And if we're going to lose, let's lose to Steve Bruce. Because if not, Steve's not going to get paid and he'll eventually get fired. So they went away up north and they lost, but I don't think that that's indicative of their season. They've actually been quite strong. They've drawn a lot of matches they probably could have lost. They've won a lot of matches no one thought they would win. And I think at home, they attack with reckless abandon. They're a good side. I see them beating Wolves 3-1.
Did you just say gay abandon?
I think I actually did.
No, you said reckless, but I just wanted to make you doubt yourself.
Job done.
Usually in any other season, you would expect this to be a really high-scoring game, but Bournemouth and Wolves have not quite hit the heights that we thought they were. Certainly going forward anyway. Howe's made them a lot better defensively this season. Wolves were very good last weekend against Villa, got a very easy win in the derby. And I see this one being a share of the spoils. I'm going to think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Brighton and Hove, Albion, versus Leicester City.
Very difficult for Leicester to come up against two sides three, Brighton and Hove and Albion.
And Albion. Not fair.
They're not fair at all. How does 11 take on 33? If anyone can do it, it's Leicester City. I'm sure you're going to talk about Leicester a lot. Brighton have been doing very well under Graham Potter. Although they got beaten by a resurgent Man United last weekend, they've done very well this season. And I actually think I'm going to go a bit rogue on this one, Tom, and I'm actually going to put Brighton down for a home win. I think it's going to be a bit of a surprise, and I think Brighton are going to win it 2-1.
Brighton, behind the scenes, have invested really heavily in their infrastructure, and that looks like it's paying dividends, and Graham Potter's come in and kind of instilled a new side of football, and they actually look vindicated in getting rid of Chris Hughton. But this Leicester City side are on an unbelievable run. So unbelievable, the only run less believable than this is when they won the Premier League. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This team isn't even close to what Liverpool are. But they are playing fantastic football. Jamie Vardy is at his absolute best right now, and they are just carving teams apart. What they did to Arsenal was rude. It was 2-0, but it could have been 4 or 5. I can't see Brighton staving them off after what Man United were able to do to Brighton last week. I see this being a 1-0 victory to Leicester City.
Okay, everybody, I'm just going to take a moment now, halfway through the predictions. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are enjoying it, give it a big old like down below. Let's try and get 50 likes on this video. It helps us out so much. If you like the content on this channel, also think about subscribing. And if you do subscribe, hit that notify bell. Tom, we're on a mission. We're on a mission to get 1,000 subs by the time Christmas Day rolls around. And if you're watching this after Christmas, let's hope we're already there. Also, as well, this video, like all our videos, is in association with Grandstand Bettors. If you haven't been over to their website, what the hell are you doing? Go and check them out. They're a superb tipster website. Their expertise on sports is bar none. They're superb tipsters. Go and check them out. You won't be sorry, and you can win yourself a little bit of cash in the process. The Eagles are coming! Crystal Palace versus Liverpool.
So Liverpool are okay at football. Apparently they've won a couple matches this year. So that's enough said about them. Crystal Palace lost last week against Chelsea 2-0. It's Palace. They're worse at home though than they are away. And that kind of makes you worried against the Liverpool side, where the international break has probably done a lot of their players quite a lot of good. I'm going 3-0 Liverpool.
This is where you call me a madman.
You're a madman.
Madman. I Liverpool obviously are in a phenomenal position in the league. Out of all the teams up there, it's not the fact that they're so far ahead of points. They just look like they want it this season. More than any other time, as a whole club, fans, players, backroom staff, they want this title, and they don't seem like ever seem like they're beaten in a game. And the recent games against Villa and against Man City just evidence for that. However, as you know, Thomas, I love Roy Hodgson. He has been one of the greatest England managers of all time. I mean, how that Iceland result, we never would have got that without him. And
Are you recycling jokes?
That's what I do. Go back and check all the previous videos. And I just have a feeling that this winning run or unbeaten run for Liverpool, it's the end of the line for it. And Crystal Palace are going to win it 2-1.
I have no idea you will do anymore.
If you don't beat me in predictions this week, you'll never ever beat me.
It's true.
Against Leicester and against Liverpool.
You did this last year, though. You backed against City for 4 weeks in their 17-match unbeaten run. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, I got to give you a chance to get back in it.
I know. Got to give you a chance.
You're only up by 2, Ian.
Feels like more, though.
Does if you're in the League One predictions. What? Next up is Everton versus Norwich City.
So Marco Silva is somehow hanging on to a job. I'm sure you're going to talk a lot more about Everton. Norwich City, it's spiralling out of control for them. They've got to redress things very quickly. The goals have just dried up for them, and they just look absolutely shocking at the back. I mean, they're just trying to... It's so weird. The football they're trying to play worked for them in the Championship, but Premiership sides are just a little bit too cute for it. They're too good at pressing. Norwich just lose the ball in horrible areas like they did against Watford, and then 1-0 down after about a minute or 5 minutes or something. So they're just playing catch-up all the time. I can't see them changing. I just see Everton winning this one. 2-0 win for the Toffees.
You know, the runaway wheelie bin that had been set ablaze by Everton was stopped last week as Southampton threw themselves on the blaze. Now, the wheelie bin is still careening out of control, but the fire has been put out. No longer are they the only crisis club in the league. Everton have been quite simply abysmal all season, but the club, the players are too good to be playing this badly. They are going to turn it around. A game against Southampton's a good place to start, but Christ, Norwich is another great place to go. They have one player, old Pookie, Finland's greatest export ever, and I see this being a 3-1 Everton win. I think this will yet again paper over cracks, and against good opposition, Everton will fall apart. But these are the matches where Everton are going to stay in the league, and I think they're going to punish Norwich.
What a game this promises to be. Manchester City versus Chelsea.
I mean, who am I supposed to pick? We all know I'm going to pick Chelsea. What am I talking about? Chelsea have been nothing short of amazing to watch this season. Mason Mount got his first international goal this week. Well-deserved, a well-deserved call-up in general. This Chelsea side are electric to watch. Captain America driving them forward, pulling them around. World Cup winner Olivier Giroud can't even get in the squad, and I've got nothing to complain about because they're scoring tons of goals. Goals are not the problem. Random defensive errors are, and every now and then Kurt Zouma deciding his 2 left feet, but this Chelsea side, Frank Lampard is so charismatic, he's so likable. All their young English talent is just driving them along, and I got them beating Man City this week. City are incredible, but Chelsea are flying. And they're so young, and they have no fear. I see Chelsea winning this. I see City losing 2-0 to the Blues away from home.
Sorry, say that again.
I said 2-0 to the Blues away from home.
I couldn't agree more, really. I'm actually going to back a draw in this one, but Liverpool caused City problems every time they went forward, and it's been a common theme to City that they just look like you can get at them this season. And Chelsea, with all their attacking qualities that they've showed in the games, I think this will be a tough afternoon for City, but I think they're going to sort of get through in a high-scoring draw, because they're still excellent. They're still brilliant.
One
of the best sides in the world going forward. They're still going to control the game, and I think it's going to be 2-2.
Aston Villa versus Newcastle United.
How dare you take pot shots at Steve Bruce? That game against Bournemouth was nothing to do with Eddie Howe. This is about a side that is rallying behind their manager. Not only has he got them playing amazing football now, but they're coming from behind to win games. This is a new Newcastle. This is a Newcastle we haven't seen in years. We're talking that this man is the second coming of Kevin Keegan.
Honestly, I will love it if we beat them.
Yes, I know that's a recycled joke, and I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it. Give him a chance. You're giving him a chance. This is going to be another win for Newcastle. Very easy job. 3 more points for Newcastle in a 2-0 win.
You done?
Yes.
Good. Right, Aston Villa are just... They might be the least lucky side in the Premier League this year. No matter what performance they put in, they just lose. And that's basically it. I don't know what else Villa fans really want to hear. I don't know what else people care about right now. This Villa side, even when they play well, seem to lose 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. There'll probably be some VAR controversy. But they are lucky this week because they're coming up against Newcastle led by Steve Bruce. I saw that. You great guess. There it is. And no one can lose to this Newcastle side except the god that is Eddie Howe that felt the need to gift Steve Bruce a result. I don't know where these Newcastle results are coming from. I don't know what it has to do with it, but this is where Aston Villa look up at Everton and they say, "We're coming for you, Marco. We're coming for you." Villa 2, Newcastle 0.
Manchester United lost to Newcastle, didn't they?
Everyone beats Man United. It doesn't count anymore.
Let's be honest with each other. All those other games, they mean nothing. They are merely appetizers on the menu of Premier League football this weekend because it's time for the main event.
Sheffield United under Chris Wilder versus Manchester United with Ollie at the wheel.
Well, Manchester United actually had a really good result, so you better talk about it and see how they're going to get on this week.
Yeah, I mean, they had a really good result. Brighton didn't help themselves. A lot of shades of luck with, like, deflected goals, etc. It was a good United performance. They dominated from start to finish. They played well in the Europa League. They've won 2 or 3 away games now. Obviously, they had a random loss thrown in there a couple of weeks ago, but they've improved. They've played better. Martial and Rashford look like what will make Man United a better club. Having both of them playing at the same time seems to be pretty key. My personal opinion is that Paul Pogba playing makes them a worse side. It's time for him to leave. I know he hasn't played in ages.
I don't think he's back yet for another couple of weeks, I think.
But what I'm trying to say is they don't need him. He's not going to be the difference, and it's not like they're waiting for that because at the end of the day, they have creative players that just seem to be having problems. Hopefully, this United side can manufacture something against... Just talk about him. And I'll just give my result is 2-0 Man United, but just start talking about Chris Wilder.
I will do, but my biggest worry from Manchester United's point of view is just which Man United is going to turn up. They put on a couple of good performances and then they have a performance like they had against Bournemouth, for example, where it's just lacklustre and there's no urgency to it. McTominay is out for Man United, and I think that's a big loss in midfield. I think he might be 50-50 actually, but if he doesn't play, he's the one player that's sort of adding a bit of bite to the side.
Who knew Darren Fletcher and Fergie's love child would become the driving force behind Man United?
But enough of those Red Devils, because let's talk about another United. Sheffield United have been nothing short of brilliant. It was only a toenail that stopped them from getting a win against Spurs last weekend. And now Manchester United have to come to Bramall Lane, this fortress of a ground, and come up against ex-Oxford United George Baldock, ex-Oxford United John Lundstrom, and ex-Oxford United manager Chrissy Wilder. Here is a picture of him sliding to celebrate our playoff win over York. Of course, Manchester United are not going to get anything up there. It is going to be Sheffield United 1, Manchester United 0.
Ian, before we call this a day, let me just state that you just seem to feel the need to almost sell Sheffield as if they needed the help. Aren't they in 6th in the league? This is a team. You don't need to sell them. They're doing incredibly. I hate it.
I feel that the loyal viewers need to be aware of how many ex-Oxford players they have and how they've been a catalyst, and how if they wouldn't have left Oxford, now Oxford would be in the Premier League and Sheffield United would not be. That'll do it for Premier League predictions for another week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and go and check out Grandstand Bettors. Thomas, do you have anything else to add?
If you're looking for detailed football analysis, probably in the wrong place.